All right, folks, welcome back to the show. In recognition of Better Hearing Month, we have Stuart Spencer here from Advanced Ear Care. Hi, Stuart.
Hey, good morning, Bree.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always nice to have you on the show, Stuart.
Oh, thank you.
It's such a pleasure. May is Better Hearing Month, so we have a special event, or you have a special event that we're going to talk about.
That's right.
Toward the end of our interview, but you also have events now to get patients into better hearing.
Yeah, that's right. So, every day is Better Hearing Day for us, right? I mean, we help people hear better all the time, but May, is National Better Hearing Month. A lot of focus on hearing, hearing protection, those types of different avenues. So we do all that, we do, hearing protection, we do custom protection, we do electronic earplugs, we do obviously, the hearing devices, hearing aids to help people hear better. So, we want everybody to come in and check their hearing, and it's just amazing how many people we catch. Oh, I'm fine, my hearing's just fine.
Why is that?
So, well, hearing loss is so gradual and it's so invisible and it's so painless. You only know how you hear. You think you have normal hearing because that's the only hearing you have. And then when we check it, we improve it, people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know, right?
Are people aware, people who are gradually losing the ability to hear like they used to, are they aware that they're saying, what?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
It's again, it's a slow process. The typical person, it takes when they first realize maybe I have something going on, and I'm seeing a little bit of that, to when they actually do something about it, it's about a 7-year period.
Oh my God.
So people really tolerate it a lot, so they go on and on.
Well, loved ones tolerate it a lot
right.
too.
Oh yeah, we get that, oh my gosh, they say, oh, my hearing's fine, the spouse is like, no, it's not. So, no, they really don't recognize it as being a significant issue because they do hear. And with hearing, speech is a complex sound, combination of complex sounds. So, they can hear a glass break like a block away,
right.
but they can't hear 3 feet across a table in a restaurant.
Right.
So it's very confusing to them, to really isolate that. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
And May's a great month to do it.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And then you also offer insurance benefits checks for hearing aids.
So this is a big deal, so insurance companies are really rotating a lot of hearing aid benefits. And so some people think, oh, I'll just come in, my insurance company pays for it. Well, they pay $20, or they pay $200. Well, that doesn't cover, anything. The cost of the hearing aid, the full cost, I should say, or service. Some insurance companies pay for just the hardware and then a few appointments to fit it, and then that's it. So they require us to sell them like a service plan, so they can, because we bring people in 4 times a year, look in their ears, collect their devices, clean them, check them, reprogram them, check their hearing, all because it takes some maintenance with hearing aids, right?
Does it?
So you've really got to stay on top of that stuff.
Okay.
And so, we figure out exactly what the best program for each individual is in conjunction with their benefits. And so then they have the right kind of plan moving forward and they know they're just taken care of. But it's a big deal, so they should let us help them figure that out.
And how long of a process is that? How many days would you need?
Gosh, just a day.
Just a day?
Maybe 2, depending on how backed up we are, with insurance verifications. But not very long, not very long. And then they know. And a lot of,
where they stand.
Adult children, check for their parents.
Sure.
Because the parents, just, don't pick up the phone and do it. So like, okay, Dad, let me, figure this out. So they can even call us with that kind of information. And, we gather that, make the phone calls and get back to them. And so then they know, what the best hearing path is for them.
Right, so they have a baseline and they know what they can do.
That's right.
As far as getting the proper help that they need.
And, get back on the air, right? It's a big deal.
Exactly. So talk to us about the May 29th.
Okay, so this is a big deal. So this is a, we call it a verified best hearing day. So, people can come in and, we're just going to check their hearing And it's really kind of I'll say a special day as far as discounts go. The manufacturer's given us some special pricing on hearing aids. We can fit anybody and everybody that day that they come in, test them, fit them, for just big discounts. That's really what it is. So it's a good day. There's only like 8 slots, right? It's 8 hours in the day, so there's 8 slots. So it's kind of just a special little push, to help people. And some people, really can't afford, a full price of a hearing device. Hearing aids are expensive today, Although we have them at all price ranges, even the lower ones are, a little bit expensive.
What are they starting at?
So, it's about $2,500,
Okay.
and then they go up from there. It's a typical, price you'll see at Costco, and we've got a 4-year warranty, 4 years of service that are included in ours. And so it's a little fuller, kind of comprehensive package. And, there's a lot of insurance plans, speaking of insurance, that Costco doesn't handle, that we do.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's a big difference for sure.
And you mentioned just a bit ago that you maintain them, you clean them, and then do you retest several times a year?
Well, usually like once a year.
Just once a year?
Yeah, that's pretty adequate unless there's some significant event, that happened, gunshot or something like that, or loud noise exposure or car accident, those type of things. But typically once a year is plenty.
Okay. So how do people book an appointment for May 29th?
So they just call our number, that's right up on the screen, and just say they want to have their hearing checked, and we'll pencil them right in and get them in, at a convenient time, and we'll kind of play with that 29th date a little bit. We have a little flexibility there, but some people are just busy those days, so we take that into consideration too.
What day is that? Do you know?
So that's I believe it's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Don't hold me to that, but
Okay.
I believe it's a Thursday.
Okay, but don't tell anybody. You might extend it to the Friday.
There you go. That's it. We want to help people hear better, right?
That's great. Stuart, you have a monthly newsletter
We
also.
do.
It's called Stu News.
Stu's News.
Stu's News.
That's right.
Not to be confused with the one in Laguna, Stu News.
So we've got the little Stu's News. So we've done this for 20 years. We send this out every month to our patients. And, because between those time periods, right when we see them, and, every 4 months, every 3 months, depending on their schedules, there's a lot of information today that comes in pretty fast. So this helps us to stay in touch. And it's not like we can sit down and tell, one person everything they need to know,
right.
Initially, even in that first 6 months. So this helps us, with the communication. It's all about, hearing loss. And then a lot of fun stuff. There's puzzles in there, there's recipes,
fun.
all the great newsletter stuff, that people like and enjoy, and people just love it. They just all say, oh my gosh, this is so great.
Right.
So it's something that people enjoy, and it's free. If somebody wants to get our newsletter, just, give us a call at the same number, and we'll be happy to put them on that list.
And
people
it's
really
mailed
find
out.
a lot of value of it. Yep, we mail it out every month.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of advancements and so forth. You are seeing a lot with AI.
Oh yeah, we sure do. Yeah. We're pressing
how
an
has that
envelope.
helped overall in general the ability for people to hear as opposed to maybe 10 years ago before we had that technology?
It's a great question. Here pretty soon, we're going to be putting a program together. It's about a half-an-hour program that you guys are going to be helping us air, and it'll cover a lot of those details. But fundamentally, AI helps us to break down different sound categories and soundscapes. There's just, everybody always comes in and says, Stuart, I have a hard time hearing in a noisy restaurant. Because the noise is up here, the speech is back here. So AI helps us identify those noise patterns so we can reduce them so they can hear the speech more clearly. Fast, smart, sharp.
Right.
So the speed is really important for hearing those little soft, subtle speech sounds. And so that's helped us with that. And then there's just the whole communicative thing with the phone, right? The different things we can do through the phone with the hearing aids. And, basically the AI helps us to have the hearing aids be just more automatic. So people put them on, wear them, and hear better. But man, if they want to adjust them and use their phone, they can really do so much. It's amazing.
All right. Sign up for May 29th, everybody. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me,
Appreciate you being
Bree.
here. Coming up next, we have the Democratic Club, so stay with us.